Joining me now for a continuation of the discussion about Apple, we want to welcome in Carolina Milanesi, President of Creative Strategies. Carolina, you have a more bullish outlook, if I may, compared to what we're seeing from Jefferies this morning. So Jefferies saying the iPhone expectations are excessive. What do you think? Do you think that the consensus is overly bullish on iPhone 17 or not?
I think it all depends where you're coming in from. If you were hoping for a super cycle, of course, this is not it. Everybody is, though, upgrading from older products to the base iPhone, which is critical for Apple in preparation for the launch of the renewed Siri and Apple Intelligence. And then you see a skew for early adopters on really the Pro lineup, which impacts a more positive ASP. So I think all in all, it's been a good launch. Obviously, we're waiting for Apple to share some of the revenue numbers. We know that they don't actually share sales numbers, but there's a lot that we can extrapolate from just the base of the revenue.
When you think about them holding prices where they are, and even if there is stronger demand overall, how do you interpret that pricing strategy, especially when you think about how it impacts just overall numbers?
I think we have seen others from Google to Samsung holding prices, so it was a good move for Apple to do so. We don't know the extent of the tariff impact as far as what Apple was willing to take on themselves versus passing on to consumers, but it is a critical momentum for Apple to really move that install base to newer products, again, in preparation for not just Apple Intelligence, but more services. There are rumors that they might be getting the rights for Formula One for 2026. We know that they're doubling down on their content for Apple TV and sports. So getting consumers to the newer models will give them more revenue in the longer term.
Let me ask you this, Carolina. Last year, when we were talking about this 16, it was all the idea was that was going to be the super cycle. It wasn't. This year, it does look like demand is stronger. And, even on the first day, I saw lines, whereas, with the 16, I didn't see that. Do you think this is the super cycle? And, maybe it's just the timeline of consumers of holding their phone. It's just phones are longer in the tooth. But now is the time when there is going to be that refresh cycle. What's your thought on that?
I wouldn't call it a super cycle, but we know very well that hardware, like strong design differences and, as simple as an orange color coming to the Pro is getting people's interest. And, as much as we want to talk about AI and software, is really hardware that is still driving consumers to store and check out the new products. Definitely the change in the colors, the Air coming in, and maybe consumers go to the store to check out the Air because it's such a different design and then settle on something else. But it is getting consumers more into stores to see the new products and touch them. And I think that a lot of that is still a differentiation for Apple, the ability to go into a store. And I was actually in a store last Friday in San Diego where, there's still a lot of excitement. That's what is going to get consumer to think about upgrading.
Okay, so to think about upgrading, and so you say it's all about the hardware. Does the AI narrative matter at all, especially when it comes to, the triggers for consumers?
Not at the moment. It's definitely something that consumers are thinking about, but nobody's running to a store asking for AI. I think the use cases are still hard to deliver, and especially the return on the investment. So you're not thinking about spending $1,000 on a phone because of AI. I also think that while Apple definitely needs to deliver on a more capable Siri and an all-around experience, what they are being very good at the moment is setting themselves up to be the platform for AI, and which AI you want to have, whether it is ChatGPT or Anthropic or Apple Intelligence, what is that is going to run very well on their devices. And that's what they want to land right now.
I like your point, though, about, it's not like people are running to the store and saying, show me your AI, show me your chatbot. All right, Carolina, let's talk about, I'm curious to know what you're paying attention to in terms of trends and demand in international markets like China, like India. And overall, I mean, I'm sure you've already, to me, clearly speaking to the U.S. demand. What do you think about the demand trends overall as it relates to momentum for Apple, especially when you look overseas?
Yeah, it does seem that India and China responded very well. Again, there are two markets that are very sensitive to hardware. And I think when you're looking at specifically the Air is getting more attention in those markets. I also think that the base model really offering very little compromise other than maybe the camera is very appealing to consumer at, in Apple terms, affordable price point. I also think that Apple is being very smart in upgrading their accessory line. Something as simple as now the carrier for the iPhone is is a $99 with very high margins that is going to definitely impact their bottom line.
Okay. All right. And we'll certainly look out to see what the final numbers are from this quarter. And look, the holiday quarter is usually a strong quarter for Apple. So this one probably will be no different, but we'll see if it's even stronger than usual. Carolina, we'll leave our conversation there for today. That's Carolina Milanesi, President of Creative Strategies, with a deep dive into what Apple demand looks like.